project, and before we do, I want to go over the flow chart for this album cover. There are quite a few steps, and I need you to please make sure that you follow them so that you don't end up with a problem in the end and have to go back and correct a mistake, because it's gonna cause you just more time and frustration. So let's take a look real quick at this flow chart, because I think this will help you understand kind of where you're going with your project. The first thing you have to ask yourself, am I going to use Photoshop or am I going to use Illustrator? And the way to answer that question is, if you're using Photoshop, that means that you want to work with images that already exist. You're going to manipulate them somehow, or you're going to do drawing with a paintbrush or a pencil or some type of drawing tool. If you answered yes to those questions, you are going to be working in Photoshop. If you want to work more with vector art, which means you want to be tracing on top of a sketch using the pen tool, then you will be using Illustrator. Everyone should have their thumbnail sketches done, and then you should have that one final mock-up sketch that you are going to work from. Now, if you're in Photoshop and you want to draw on top of that, or if you're in Illustrator and you want to draw on top of that, you need to take a picture of it and email it to yourself and download it. If you are in Illustrator, before you take a picture of that drawing that you have, I would label your layers so that when you go into Illustrator, you can start building your layers. Because remember, Illustrator doesn't make layers for you, and you could end up putting everything on your sketch layer and then having to go back and fix everything. So let's assume you're going to use Photoshop. Once you have your sketch, if you want it into Photoshop, you have it in by now. If not, then you don't have to use a sketch at all. You're going to be using one of the mock-up templates that I provide for you. So you either are going to open up mock-up number 1 or mock-up number 2, which you already decided when you were in your sketch assignment. Open that file, go in, add all of your design, including images and drawings. Do not include text. I repeat, do not use text, because that text is going to be done in Illustrator. Once you have your album cover mock-up template done, you are going to save it as a PSD, and then you're going to export it as a PNG. It'll be then ready to bring into Illustrator. Now, you are going to have a separate file that is also going to be a mock-up 1 or 2. It's going to be the record art that's here. That is the circular part of the album, and we're going to go over this in a video that I'm going to make for you, but I just want you to know that you are working on 2 completely separate files. That's why this project is a little bit more involved. Once you have designed your record art, you are going to then save it as a PSD and export it as a PNG. The one you bring into Illustrator, the PNG file, is going to be your album cover mock-up, because this is the one that's going to have text on it. You're going to have to include the artist's name or band or group, and you are also going to have to make sure that you have the title of the album on your design. There are guidelines that are already made for you in the template. It's the AI mock-up template. You are going to make sure that you do not keep your text outside those guidelines, and I'll go over that in the video. Once you have gotten feedback, you've finished, everything is fine, you're going to save it as an AI file, and then you'll have it saved as a PNG. There will be no text on your record art, so you do not need to do anything with that. That PNG stays the same. We then are going to bounce it back into the mock-up files, which I'm going to provide for you, and there's also going to be a video on how to add it to your mock-up. That mock-up is going to get saved as a PSD and exported as a PNG. Illustrator is a little bit easier because all of the designing is done in Illustrator. That means that you're going to be doing artwork as well as type, and then by the time you're done, you'll be then moving it into the mock-up file. There's going to be a video for both of these. choose the video that works with your choice. And if you have any questions, let me know.